Welcome to the Know, I'm Ashley. Hey, looks like all that attention from Bluehole's complaints has kind of paid off for Epic's own attempt at Battle Royale because the Battle Royale mode for Fortnite had a massive launch yesterday. Epic Games revealed some pretty impressive day one numbers in a tweet, writing, "Over 1 million players have partied on the battle bus during the first day of Battle Royale. Thank you and party on." That may or may not sit too well with the Battlegrounds developers Bluehole, who raised some objections about Epic launching their own version of the game, mostly because of licensing issues with Epic's engine, as well as the mention of Battlegrounds in the game's press announcement. So we'll see if Fortnite can hold on to that player count, and if it'll get even bigger considering, well, it's out for multiple platforms already, and it's free, and sometimes that's all you need. It's no secret that Nintendo's launch of the Switch has been one of the biggest stories of 2017, but now there's more information about just how big it's been for the company. According to an analyst at US retail tracker NPD, the physical software sales for Switch are on pace to be the biggest ever for a Nintendo platform launch year since '95 by a fairly large margin. That's pretty significant because it doesn't include digital sales at all, and digital is on the upswing, but also because 1995 was the year they first started tracking software sales. So in short, it's the biggest launch year in terms of software since they started recording that information. So not only are people buying a ton of Switch hardware units, well, when they can find them, they're also buying up games like crazy. And Gus is particularly excited about one that's just come out called, it's a golf story. It's described as golf game meets Earthbound. I don't know what's not to love about that. We're all going to try it out. We're learning all kinds of shocking new details about Mario these days, in addition to the fact that he has nipples and no chest hair for some reason, even though he's Italian, and he's not even a plumber anymore. We can also add animal abuse to the list. Yeah, that's right, Mario is a dinosaur puncher, at least according to Nintendo, who settled a years-long online argument between players about whether or not Mario is pointing at what he wants Yoshi to lick, or if he's just punching him in the head so he sticks his tongue out. And apparently, it's that second one, judging by a recent interview with a longtime Nintendo designer Shigefumi Hino, published on Nintendo's Japanese website. Hino said about Mario and Yoshi, "Lots of people think that while Mario is pointing his finger forward, he's saying go and Yoshi's tongue comes out. However, the setup that I drew was that when Mario punches Yoshi in the head, the character's tongue shoots out in surprise." Yeah, that's better. Hino also revealed that this was punctuated with a punching sound effect, but they figured people might kind of feel sorry for Yoshi, and can't imagine why, so instead they just had Mario saying, go. While you may be feeling sorry for Yoshi now, understandably, getting punched in the head is not fun for everyone. There is one very important thing to consider. Who knows what Yoshi's kink is, really? In addition to increasingly difficult, insane modes, lots of modern video games are also experimenting with incredibly easy modes in order to let more players in on the experience, and now we can add Assassin's Creed Origins to that list. Ubisoft revealed yesterday on Twitter that Origins is getting a new Discovery mode in early 2018, which will have no combat and no story, but rather just allows players to roam the world of ancient Egypt. They're referring to it as a dedicated educational mode. So if you just want to parkour around pyramids to your heart's content and learn about sarcophagi and eviscerations without any of that game getting in the way, hey, more power to you. While fall is an exciting time for gamers, also known as autumn around the world for many, it means tons of games are finally starting to drop. But that can be kind of a nerve-wracking time for developers, as many in the industry are unfortunately shuffled out of work once their project ships. That's the case with Volition, which has been hit with a round of layoffs following the launch of August's Agents of Mayhem, the pseudo-sequel, sort of spin-off, to the Saints Row universe. Kotaku reports that 30 have been laid off from the team of 200 in Illinois, including the studio's general manager. Apparently, publisher Deep Silver has been a little unhappy with the performance of Agents of Mayhem, which was overshadowed in August. There are already tons of game developers and studios that are trying to wrap projects who've reached out to former Volition staff, so here's hoping they land on their feet. Gravity Rush 2 was just released this year. It's new, it's exciting, right? Yeah, well, Sony's already announced that its online services are going to be closing down in a few months. The game's online functions will shut down on January 19th, 2018, not that far away, which means that players won't be able to send challenges or get treasure hints or obtain dusty tokens, which are a currency you can use to unlock in-game rewards. Oh, and rankings will go away too. It's not the end of the world because Gravity Rush 2 is fundamentally a single-player game experience, but it's still a pretty clear sign that the game's reception wasn't quite what they were hoping for. In the meantime, though, Sony says that the amount of dusty tokens that players can obtain will be greatly increased. A little farewell gift maybe, just save those away for a rainy day, like every day after January of next year. Now, if you haven't downloaded the latest patch for Injustice 2, keep it that way. Hold off. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players are reporting that the newest patch is deleting their gear and shaders, which is not good. Developer NetherRealm Studios and publisher Warner Brothers both said they are investigating the issue. Warner Brothers wrote, "We're aware that some players who downloaded the most recent Injustice 2 patch are missing the gear they have earned. They suggested rebooting the game after installing the patch, which should recover any gear you earned before September 25th. As for your gear earned after September 25th, that wasn't restored." Warner Brothers says it's, you guessed it, investigating. Hopefully they can get it fixed because lost gear, not a good thing. In the meantime, just don't patch it, they need to patch the patch. Like a classic car in your dad's garage, World of Warcraft just keeps chugging along, and loyal fans are hoping that its latest expansion will be announced at this year's BlizzCon, where, well, Blizzard tends to make a lot of their big announcements, like, for example, World of Warcraft expansions. Some Blizzard folks have dropped some hints that it could be happening. In a new video, the game's director said, "I know players are wondering what's coming next, and can't wait to tell everybody more about it at BlizzCon." So, not sure if that's a hint or just straight up announcement of an announcement. Blizzard has said that the recent 7.3 patch was the last major addition to the Burning Legion expansion, which is kind of why fans are expecting a new one. And recently, data miners found images of a mysterious armor set that have led some to believe the next expansion will be set in the island city-state of Kultiras. We'll find out for sure, hopefully at BlizzCon, which is taking place November 3rd. Oh, and speaking of BlizzCon, don't expect a Diablo 4 announcement at the con, unfortunately. The development team says they have nothing to share at this time, which is a bummer. I liked Diablo 3, I want Diablo 4. The new content they released for Diablo 3 is great, but not what I'm looking for. So just putting that out there. If you want to develop a video game for an audience of one, this girl wants Diablo 4. Just saying. If directing Star Wars Episode 9 wasn't enough, J.J. Abrams is also gonna adapt one of the biggest anime movies of all time to live action, which always works out great. Abrams will produce a live action adaptation of Your Name, which is a sci-fi love story about a boy and girl who can swap bodies. The 2016 movie was a huge hit in Japan and made more than $355 million worldwide, which is the highest ever foreign anime film. But anime fans online were not so happy about a live-action remake of the movie. Understandable considering the history of live-action anime adaptations. But Makoto Shinkai, who wrote and directed the original, is on board for the adaptation, saying, "When such a work is imbued with Hollywood filmmaking, we may see new possibilities that we had been completely unaware of. I am looking forward to the live-action film with excited anticipation. Here's hoping it goes better than Ghost in the Shell." After years of waiting, it looks like the long-promised sequel to Avatar has finally started production. Wait, did I say sequel? Because I meant sequels and lots of sequels. A total of 4 sequels, starting with Avatar 2, will be made back-to-back by James Cameron, who spent years working on the scripts. We don't know anything about the plot yet, but Entertainment Weekly gave us a look at some of the new young cast members who will join returning stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, and Stephen Lang. Producer John Landau said the young cast represent the future generation of Pandora and play a very significant role, not just in this movie, but throughout all the movies. Still gonna have to wait a bit for the movies though. The first one won't arrive until December 18th, 2020, so that's gonna be a whole saga. Okay, that about does it for this roundup. Let us know what you think of all these stories in the comments down below. To make sure you get news from every corner of the internet every weekday, like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to The Know. Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley. Well, it looks like all that attention from Bluehole's complaints, They suggested rebooting the game after installing the patch, which should recover any gear you earned before September 25th. As for your gear earned after September